Let's go 0 viewers. You ready to do this?
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
Hey, Cobb, what time is it?
Oh, are we home yet? Did CJ find my exit? I hope that wasn't a dream.
Nah, it was real, man. It's 2 days later. You're caught up on sleep, and we're doing a podcast.
Okay, well, then it must be tea time.
It's tea time. It's TMV or P time. Depending if you're listening or watching, we don't mind. It's tea time. It's TMV and P time. As long as you're listening or watching, we don't mind. As long as you're listening or watching, we don't mind.
Welcome to the Mohrrior videocast with Brad, Hutchings, and J. Cobb. We're videocasting live on YouTube today tonight, from 8:30 p.m. to about 10 p.m. Pacific. We're going to have a great time tonight. If you're watching this, please share a link with your friends. How you doing, Cobb?
Great to be live on YouTube with the TMV, Brad. Hey, everyone out there in Mohrrior land, welcome to the Tweeting Mohrrior videocast, home of the premier source of sports fan fiction.
Here's how to interact with us live. To tweet our show, hashtag TheTMV. The GoToMeeting ID is 683-101-669.
So, hashtag your tweets, the TMV. The GoToMeeting ID is 683-101-669. We'll take calls as we work through our segments during the show. Get on and have something to say.
What's on our plate today, Cobb?
We got winners of the week, Bakersfield recap all show long, topical tweets, and Mohrrior Draft 2014.
I hope some people we met in Bakersfield can call in.
Me too. That was an amazing day.
Winners of the week.
On Monday, we had new guy, first-time winner, Mohrrior. Follow him on Twitter at Mohrrior. Brunner, you are a hat-trick winner. Tuesday, no winner. JJ punished all the tweeting Mohrriors in the Twitter hat-trick club for too many Hibbert and George threesome tweets. Sorry guys, those tweets were funny as hell, and it was probably worth not having a Twitter hat-trick winner on Tuesday. Wednesday, 9-time winner, Etchitman, the Twitter hat-trick club's own enigma, won his 9th. Follow Etchitman on Twitter at Shecky14. Shecky, you are a hat-trick winner. And Thursday, another Twitter hat-trick club legend, Great Bludini, won his 10th. Follow Great Bludini on Twitter at Great Bludini. Bludini, you are a hat-trick winner. And on Friday, another first-time winner, Tim in Cincy. Follow Tim on Twitter at Prizzle316. Tim, you are a hat-trick winner.
Good stuff, Cobb.
That Prizzle316 caught me off guard. I was like, wait a second, I could... Never mind. And that's exactly what I did.
Here we go.
From the book of Prizzle, we have... Never mind. Yeah, that shouldn't have said anything.
It's all good. Stuff I have to cut out. Thank you. Bakersfield. Bakersfield!
Bakersfield!
So Saturday was the eagerly awaited J Moore Sports Show in Bakersfield, and we're going to recap it for you because it was
Epic.
It was epic. All right, let's start with me leaving the house, and we'll end with me getting back to the house. All right, so I open the door to leave the house.
I don't think we should do that. You want to do this chronologically?
Yeah, well, we'll try for a little bit, okay? But there's a few important points here. Okay, so the first important point is I leave the house, I give the dogs all a nice treat, open the door, and there's a FedEx package for me. Who sends me a FedEx that I get on Saturday? And it's not just a little package. This is a big old box. So I see it's addressed to me, and I note that it's from Sherman Oaks. And I'm like, whoa, Vito really turned this around quick. And sure enough, when I open it up, whole box full of big seeds. So I grabbed a couple and threw them in my big bag of stuff and headed out to the car.
How big was the box? If you can give the viewers on YouTube a visual.
Well, let's see here. It was like that big.
Okay, for those listening, I'll tell you, like
that big.
The hand,
like that,
about 2 or 3 inches above Brad's head, and then about 2 or 3 inches below Brad's head. So Brad's head being about 18 inches. This is about a 24-inch box.
This will
last right?
This will
and then how wide?
It was wide. It was very wide. It was like that wide. So this is gonna last me. This is gonna last me a little bit, and it had a good variety too. It wasn't like when I ordered from Amazon. I got to pick one flavor and stick with that for 2 months.
Well, what flavors did you get? I mean, I know what we had in the car, but what did you get in the box?
The only one I shared with you was the ranch, but there was also dill pickle and the original flavor. Not too bad. Not too bad at all.
It's not too shabby at all.
It's not at all. It's pretty good. I know that you had a package of those open today.
I did. I got 3. I got a little variety pack myself.
Very good.
I just went original, like, off the bat.
Okay, but this isn't a big seed.
Well worth it.
We aren't sponsored by Big Seeds yet, so let's move on from this. Drove up to CJ's house, CJ in Irvine, and drove up there. Of course, my phone at this point my phone had died, so I had to use a little map drawn out on paper that I drew in Google Maps before I left. For whatever reason, my phone didn't charge, so I was messing around with that the whole way up to CJ's house, trying to make it start, and it did finally. And when I got to CJ's house, we loaded up in his Subaru, which is a very, very nice vehicle, lots of legroom in the front, and we drove up to Cobb's house, and that took us about an hour. And this is where I'm going to leave off and let Cobb tell a little bit of the story. But came up to the gate. I showed up, came up to the gate, and Cobb said, "Hey, do you guys want to come in? You need to take a bathroom break? You want to see the place or whatever?" And I'm like, "No, let's just get going, man. Let's go." And then I'm like going back to the car, and I'm like thinking, wow, that was really rude. He wanted to show us this place. So we showed up, we get out of the car and we go back up there, and yeah, we really want to tour and everything. And so met the dogs.
Why you had the 180. I thought it was the dogs. Honestly, I thought the dogs came out and said hello, and they're like, "Oh, I gotta say hi to Bailey and Winston."
Well, I did see them. I did see them up on the up atop the garage there, and I thought, I gotta say hello to Bailey and Winston. That's true. That probably was the most of the motivation there. But from there, I'm like, oh, I want to see where Cobb podcast's from. Oh, I want to get a I haven't. I wanted to try his Nescafe machine. I wanted his Nespresso machine.
I want to see Dodger Stadium.
Right. So
So
Winston is the really he's the sweet dog, and he just is all love. And Bailey's a little bit more high-strung and a little bit more
it's backwards. You have it backwards.
Okay,
Bailey's like super uber people person. Like he loves you. When he meets you, he loves you.
So this big mark on my knuckle here, this is from Winston. Is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
But now that he's nicked you, he loves you like Bailey loves you on first sight.
Got it.
So it just takes one nick, and he's head over heels.
I got it. Okay. Well, they were very cool, and just a real cool place you have there, Cobb. And
thanks, man.
I will tell you, not an area I think I'd ever gotten off the freeway in 20 years I've lived down here, but it's starting to turn around, and it's nice to see. That's really cool.
Northeast LA is definitely turning a new leaf. So
very cool. So why don't you take it from there? We visited your house. We went out and dodged whatever those, what were they, guava and poop.
Oh, in the backyard?
In the backyard.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I didn't know. So it was hard to tell which one was which. They both sound the same when you squish them.
Yes.
With your feet. But we were able to like guide our way through that, and then we go up through the backyard, and I'm just showing off my view when I get up there. And it's like because you go up and it's a tiered backyard, so like you get up the first tier and you get to look over the house. You get up to the second tier, you get to see like downtown. You get a better view of the top portion of of Dodger Stadium, and that's Winston saying hello and Bailey saying hello over there. They I guess they know I'm talking to you, Brad.
By the way, behind Cobb, behind Cobb, there's a Simon and Garfunkel poster. You'll see it when he gets back here. I should just lock on him so he can see it.
Yeah. Well, it's right here. This
yes,
one
well,
right here,
it was funny because when I looked in the room and I saw that, and I just instantly chuckled because I recognized it. It was kind of fun. I cannot say enough about the view from his place, both from the window that he's got there, and then when you go outside the house and up the first and the second tier, the view he's got of downtown, of the freeways, you can see the top of Dodger Stadium. The day was clear as just the clearest day you could imagine in LA, and it was absolutely, it's stunning. I mean, what a cool place.
Thanks, man.
I didn't even imagine.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
It's
so
like that 90% of the time.
So
we get days like
Cobb
that.
and I played Cop Monkey Bear for who got to ride in the front.
Mm-hmm. And I picked Cop.
That's right. And I picked Monkey.
Yeah.
No, I picked Bear.
No, you didn't. You picked Bear.
I picked Bear. We didn't really play Cop Monkey Bear for it. I just let him sit in the front because I had plenty to eat in the back.
You had a big bag, not like just like a big bag, but you had like a huge bag of your road trip ready stuff.
I had everything, man.
You were Eagle Scout prepared.
You bet. You bet.
And not just with big sunflower seeds, but with like toilet paper and like extra garbage bags for seeds.
That's right. That's right. I had little bags for spit the seeds in, so we didn't have to spit them all over CJ's car. That was cool.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Our ride up was mostly uneventful. Oh, it was kind of cool because I did point out the place on the earth where I learned my left from my right. Do you remember where that was, Cobb?
That was at the end of the 210, where the 10 and the end of the 405 meet the 5.
Yeah, where the 210
outside
meets the
Sylmar.
5. Right, outside Sylmar. Yeah, I pointed out, where I'd lived along the way. It was a real trip through memory lane for me.
Yeah, and for CJ too, because CJ's like, I guess, where is he coming from? Like, he
Irvine,
lived,
dude.
Well, he came from Irvine. We both came from OC. But I'm trying to recap. What was his connection to the Grapevine? Because you lived in Sylmar, and did he live in Valencia?
No, I lived in Valencia as well.
You lived in Valencia.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't remember.
I can't quite remember. Of course,
if CJ's listening, he should call.
He went to UCLA. He's not listening. He's watching the Ducks game, or the Kings game, which is perfectly okay. Along the way, you and I both saw at the side of the road a car pulled over with a lady standing behind the car.
You saw it.
Orange vest, and I said, "Okay, I saw this." And I said, "Cobb, look over there." And as Cobb looks over there,
I have a prop.
Okay, cool.
Just keep talking.
Cool. As Cobb looks over there, she bends over a little bit, and come on, Cobb, you have a prop? This prop's gonna make a mess. I wonder what he went to get. Okay, well, I'm not gonna keep you in suspense. She projectile vomited. Yes. The orange. Yes, she was wearing the orange vest. And we could see it. We're going by 85 miles an hour, and we could see this, and it was just, it was really the most disgusting thing I've seen in a long time. But it sure looked like she was done with a bike ride or maybe a long run or something like that. So it was more triumphant.
Why was she wearing her crossing guard vest? What the heck was up with that?
I'm sure that was so traffic would see her. So she was probably a biker or something. But you're gonna wear the vest the whole time. That's
like
awesome,
nuts to butts, like a nuts to butts biker.
No, like
I ain't going nuts to butts with you on your road hog.
That's right. We get to see Dean Del Rey. Yeah, that was kind of the highlight of the trip. So now we get to Bakersfield. Sorry, I can't call in. Thanks for the invite, though. I'll be listening though later. Okay, that's French Fry Phil. All right, French Fry Phil. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
It's all right. So anyway, so we got to Bakersfield. Oh yeah, we get to the 55 and the 99, or the 5 and the 99, and Cobb's supposed to be navigating at this point, and CJ asked which way he should go, and I'm like, dude, I think you want the 99, and so he just whipped over to get on the 99 just at the last minute. Cobb later confirmed that's where we wanted to go.
A minute later.
A minute later.
A full minute later.
We got to Bakersfield and passed the exit that we wanted, so CJ got off the next exit. I plugged the...
Well, CJ had fantastic driver intuition. He always went the right way, and then when he was 50-50 on it, he had to ask, "Did I just pass where I was supposed to go?" And we're always like,
"Cobb, basically, we're driving to Bakersfield. How difficult is this?" right?
It's the
but
99.
he did a good job. So we got
dude,
there. We got there. I guess we had to find our way to Pizzaville first. So we got to Pizzaville. We were actually about 15 minutes early. Standing out in front was our greeting party, the guy who probably did everything to coordinate this and make it work, and that would have been Frank Drebin.
Absolutely, yeah.
Otherwise
he,
known
like,
as, otherwise
he
known
saw
as
us,
Mark.
and he knew...
Wait, is he Mark
Matt.
or Jim? Matt. No,
Matt.
he's not an Ian, though. Matt.
There are a couple Ians. He was not one of the Ians.
There were a couple Ians. Basically, if you didn't know somebody's name and you guessed Ian, it was probably about a 1 in 4 chance you're going to be right.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
That was pretty cool. So we got there, and then I think that what started sort of the I guess the really fun atmosphere of things is the 4 of us were there. CJ went and bought a round of beer. I'm not the big beer drinker you guys are, so you could tell me what he bought, but it was pretty good. And he got me something a little bit darker, just a glass. And then CJ decided that he wants to move to Bakersfield because beer is so inexpensive.
Oh my God, a pitcher of, God, I always mess up this name, Longonitis IPA, which is a really strong beer. It's twice the alcohol content of a normal beer. And, you know, SoCal prices being LA or OC, like,
how much was
pitchers
pitcher,
like that, dude, the pitcher at Bakersfield was $9.
You know how much the pitcher of iced tea was?
No.
$7.
You're kidding. Really?
I'm not. Pitcher soft drink was $7. That's correct.
You're better off drinking beer, buddy.
Absolutely. The beer's almost cheaper.
And the pint was only like $2.50 or $3 or something.
Yeah, so he was out of there for $11. Later on, I went up and got a jumbo meat pizza, which I couldn't figure out the menu, but at that point, French Fry Phil had shown up. And so French Fry Phil helped me out with the order. That was cool. We had a really good time there. It was cool to meet. I got to tell you, it was so neat meeting French Fry Phil. That dude he's a cool cat. And then let's see here, going down the table.
We walked in because it was the 3 of us that drove up, and it was the 4 of us getting everything together.
Yeah,
because Frank Drebin was there. His name's not Frank Drebin. His name's Matt, but we just called him Drebin all night.
Right,
and he seemed okay with that. We're like, come on, Drebin, get over here. Hey, Drebin, just shoot you, da-da-da. You know, everything was cool.
I remember when we got out of the car.
It all worked out.
This was really funny, too. When we got out of the car, you were
parking
searching
lot,
you were searching your phone for the Starchy and Husk lines so we could drop them on Frank Drebin. I couldn't remember him.
No, so we could drop him on Drebin.
Yeah. See if he recognized him, but that didn't work out too well. But no, he was a cool guy too. I mean, he had this all set up. Dude, I'll tell you something about that guy. If I were ever gonna be like in a bar fight or whatever else, okay, he's my first pick. I should have picked him first in Mohrrior draft, basically, because that dude looks like a baller. He was wearing like his wild card boxing training shirt because I guess he like trains as a boxer, even though he's a race car driver. And it was cool. He actually showed us his NASCAR driver's license while we were sitting in the Fox Theater. Right, that was
like
pretty
later
cool
on
too.
that night. That was really cool. That was pretty.
That was really cool. Yeah, he was cool. Tyler and Ronnie walked in, and I met them.
Well, they came in separately.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about when I was in line getting pizza.
Oh, right.
Right. That's about when Sir Vegas walked in as well. Another Ian.
Yeah.
French Fry Phil brought his friend Ian. That would be Billions with a B.
Mm-hmm. Whiskey for breakfast.
Oh, is that the other one?
Billions with a B. No, it's his
Billions with a B.
Got it. His handle and his name is Billions
with a B.
Yeah.
And his real name is Ian. He's a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? So we got Tyler and Ronnie. Oh, of course, somebody just tweeted me, and that was D the Seahorse. Okay.
Yeah. D the Seahorse and Mrs. Seahorse showed up.
Derek Jackson is a tall dude. I didn't think... I don't know what it was, but like he had this picture in this blue jacket or whatever, and I always imagined him about 5'6" or something like that. Dude is tall. Dude is really tall. He's a big... It's like... Yeah, it was... there was one picture that was floating around where we just all kind of lined up by height, and so it kind of goes Matt to you to me to D.
Yeah, I think that was in front of the Fox Theater where his wife took that picture.
That was kind of cool. We ran into Dean Del Rey in front of the Fox Theater.
and some tweeters who we didn't know, but just fans who were going to the show, grabbed a pic of it, and we ended up on Twitter, and some random dude's Twitter that Dean actually retweeted. So that was cool. It was like Dean Del Rey getting accosted by random fans, or his loving fans, adoring fans, something like that.
Yeah, I took to Photoshop with that picture to figure out what Dean was looking at, which was kind of weird.
Well, you conveniently chopped yourself out of that picture.
It wasn't my. Well, I was irrelevant to it. It wasn't my dancing he was looking at. That's for sure. So we got to the Fox Theater.
Well, we had to wait for Justin and Robin.
Oh, Justin and Robin showed up just before we left. That's
just
correct.
Before we left. They were just there long enough to get like a quick bite and a quick drink, and then
Phil's friend Ian grabbed another pitcher of beer about just as we're all getting up. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, I guess we have to drink this.
Guess we got to drink that. Good thing CJ was driving.
Twist my arm.
Yeah. You know, and it was funny because everybody just sort of bought something, you know, and there was plenty. You know, it was like Rob Ford's house. There was plenty to eat for everybody.
Yeah, plenty to eat at home.
And
Cobb,
that day, Cobb didn't have to buy a thing.
I don't know how that happened. But it was fun at Pizzaville because we were there checking out the talent in Bakersfield and having a good time doing that.
There was
we had the NASCAR race was on.
That's right.
The Heat Brooklyn Nets game was on. We watched when we got there. The great thing was that we got to see the end of the Dodgers game, which is something that I haven't been able to do since last year.
First time I've seen the Dodgers on Sportsnet LA.
Oh,
and
yeah,
of course
ever.
I pulled up a picture. Who did I pull up a picture for?
Might have been Phil.
No, Phil'd seen the picture. Who hadn't seen that picture? I pulled up one of my little drawings of how I imagine Sportsnet LA would be.
I remember you pulled up a drawing during the meet and greet.
That's right. I remember now.
You want to talk about that now, or you want to talk about that later?
We'll hit that later.
You sure? It's on the table.
We'll hit that later. We'll hit that later after the.
Did you hit that later?
You with me the whole time, Cobb.
I don't even know if I did. I might have.
So anyway, we got over to the Fox Theater, waited for everybody to get there. A few stragglers trying to get over from Pizzaville. Don't know what took them so long. But we all got our seats. Those seats were pretty good. You have to admit. It was a good thing I ordered them the day I did because, you know, we might have had like maybe one person in row 4 or maybe had to move over a couple seats toward the center or something.
Yeah.
The way tickets were selling. But, you know, the theater, although they didn't open up the balconies, main area of the theater, I wouldn't say it was totally packed, but it was respectably full.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of energy there. This was not a quiet crowd. This was really a great, loud, cool crowd.
Yeah, JJ even mentioned it today on the show.
Yep.
On the show today, he mentioned how great it was.
Nobody rushed the stage. Nobody brought seeds to him while he was trying to do his act.
He already had his own bottle of orange Gatorade, so no one needed to bring him any of that. He was well prepared. And he did the whole set in jeans and a Mohrrior's t-shirt, which I hadn't seen him do before. I hadn't seen him wear his own merch on stage before. By
the way, let's go back to the we do have one important point to make. Let's go back to the to Pizzaville, and JJ tweeted out a picture of his wife in a rather cut out Mohrrior's t-shirt. Some of you saw that, and so the person who was wearing the same Mohrrior's t-shirt at the table was Dee the Seahorse.
Dee the Seahorse.
I looked over at Derek and I go, dude, you got to cut your shirt up like that. That would be hilarious. And everybody was kind of egging him on and stuff, but he wouldn't do it. So let's just plant a flag. Plant a flag there. We're gonna come back to that later. Anyway,
so show went great. Seahorse's shirt. Remember, Seahorse's shirt.
Dean Del Rey was hilarious. You know, as he. It's funny, those orchestra seats, you know, the little cordon off area, those were actually like $60 or $70, and they were taken right away.
Well, do you remember what Dean told us he ate for dinner before the show? Because we saw him before the show.
That's right, we did. What did he eat for dinner?
He had a $10 lasagna from the Padre Hotel.
That's right. That's right. Oh, that was great. Yes. So anyway, so he's, you know, if you've seen Dean before, you know that he picks on the front row a lot. And so, so you know, there's the usual stuff. There was a lady at the left of the the orchestra area, who got picked on a little bit. And there was the guy sitting right in front of us, who Mr. Meat Hoodie guy, who didn't smile at anything. Remember? And he kept picking on him. He goes, that's my best joke. Everybody's in here laughing. Aren't you gonna? You don't even want to have a good time. You're not laughing. Is it that bad? The guy just sat there stoically, and from behind him, we could see the wrinkles on the back of his head and the wrinkles on his neck. You could just imagine his face. I'm gonna smile at this. This isn't funny.
Yeah. There was a Tweety Mohrrior sitting in the front row on the other side of the stage.
Oh, and who was that?
Jared Sheridan. He was remember he was tweeting us during before Dean went up, like when everyone was getting their seats.
That's right.
And he wanted to know who was around, and we're like, he was there, and so we actually met a bunch of Mohrriors who we didn't know, and that was actually really cool. That was actually a really cool part about it.
That's right. That was funny. That guy was the only guy who wasn't having a great time. And,
everyone had a blast.
Who knows?
Everyone was
even the security guards who were blocking my way from, like Drew Arnakovich tweets me, Brad, you got a clear path, man. You got to run up there and give him a kiss. I'm like, no, dude, I'm not doing that. But let's say I was
kiss me like a Sam dog.
Exactly. Let's say I was inclined to pull a stunt like that. The security guys, they were having such a good time. I probably could have run around them and then up.
They
the
couldn't
stairs.
Stop themselves from laughing.
Yeah, they were having a great. The security guys were having a great time. So
they're trying not to. They like professional courtesy. Like maybe they laugh once an hour. These guys were laughing like at every other joke practically.
Yeah. So they had a good time. Everybody had a good time. I was having a good time. You were having a good time.
Yeah.
So
what was your best bit or best joke? Either Dean or JJ.
Well, I mean, Dean. I've heard Dean stuff before, and he's even more and more polished as he does it.
Yeah.
I of course he ends it with his his friend not wanting to go nuts to butts with him on his motorcycle. And it's funny because last week I finally got to thinking, who has two butts? It should be nuts to butt.
Nut to butt.
Well, no, but at any rate, no, he was good. JJ's Clint Eastwood story, I think, is like his best stuff.
Yeah.
In a long time, and that's a great story. And of course his Eastwood voice is Eastwood's pretty easy to do, I guess. But his Eastwood voice is
easy to do.
You think Eastwood is easy to do?
Everyone thinks this is easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it.
See, there you go. But it was spot on, and it made the story even greater. So and then when you see it, you'll see it. You'll appreciate it.
I cry laughing when he does his terrorist bit when he throws a stool on the ground and he starts smacking around the stool like, "Who, you stupid bop!" And he's like. In stammering, like, broken English, he's trying to beat up the stool like it's a hostage. And I laugh, cry, until my sides hurt.
This, of course, is the
Pearl Jam.
This is a side road on the Pearl Jam bit.
On his Pearl Jam bit.
Where
as you all know, we're here in the LA Sports Arena.
Right.
Like, we did it already, know.
Such a funny bit. I like seeing it every time. The delivery's so great.
Yeah.
So after the show, we went up to the lobby, and I think we were hanging out at the right end of the lobby probably for about 10 minutes before we realized we were at basically the end of the line for the meet and greet, which was sort of the whole point.
It was perfect anyway.
Waited in line probably about 30 minutes. It seemed like about a third of the theater wanted to go through the meet and greet, which is great. So, they get a chance to
more
buy
than
t-shirts.
that. It seemed more. It seemed like at least half or more than half.
Yeah, it was a lot of people. At the back of CJ brought over someone who tweets and listens.
A lady
Mohrrior.
Mohrrior.
Yes, and loves the show, and had many sports takes, and
she had
likes,
many. She has athletes and people she loves.
She likes the show. She loves the show, and she loves Kobe Bryant, and I don't know. I think it's she's. That's right.
No, Brad.
Why am I not wearing my hat, Cobb? Explain why I'm not wearing my hat.
Because she loved your hat. Because when CJ introduced us to her, the first thing she saw was our hats, and she's like, "Oh my God, that's so funny! I love that you guys are wearing V Stiviano
hats." So she's like, she totally got the joke. She was in it, right? So at that point, I thought that was cool because I didn't have to explain the joke. It's always
and then after that, she just endeared herself to everyone.
Right.
And she was basically a longtime Mohrrior tweeter, even though none of us knew her except CJ.
Except the thing was, and I don't think CJ knew her either very much. Except the thing was, is that somehow she unendeared herself to everybody about as quick as she endeared herself to everybody.
Yeah, you could say.
And so, so I got the, I got like her life story and the whole thing, and we're just waiting in line and stuff like that. And she just keeps coming back to, I want the hat. I really like the hat. It's my birthday next month. I'm like, you know what? It's my birthday this year. You wouldn't believe it. What a coincidence. But she really liked the hat. So, I mean, at some point I had made up my mind, okay, after I get the picture, we want these pictures because we had your hat and my hat, and I had a hat for Vito, who didn't show up, but Dan Byer took a picture, and I had a hat for JJ.
Yeah.
And, we had a hat for Phil. Phil, that rat, who wore his hat at Pizzaville, and then put it in the car and put on his Detroit hat for the show. I mean, that was totally disrespectful.
He said it wasn't a Phil hat; it was a Pea Time hat, and he didn't want to go Pea Time in the Fox Theater.
Right. So anyway, that's the only thing bad I can say about Phil. Otherwise, he's a really, really good guy. But even that isn't a big foul. I would hope we'd get all 5 of us with our hats, but anyway, we got 4 of us with our hats. So we get through line, and JJ sees the hat. He thought that was kind of funny. So, I showed him his hat and said, "You got to bring this to Vito. Maybe I'll have Dan Byer bring it to Vito." He says, "No, you can't.
No,
do that.
You can't do that."
He goes, "Dan is bitter." Of course, Dan being bitter about losing the Intercontinental Championship belt to Vito that day, and I really hadn't put it together because I was working Friday and wasn't able to listen to too much of the show, so I hadn't really put that together.
But they're furious competitors, Vito
Absolutely.
and Dan.
Absolutely.
Even without listening to Friday's show, you got to know that much, Brad.
So as we got there, I don't even think we knew if Dan was still around. We'd heard he was around, but Jay went out and said, "Hey, you got to come in here and meet your guests. People want to meet you as much as they want to meet me." So Dan reluctantly comes in and, give him a big hug and, "Hey, good to meet you, Dan," and everything. And he looks like he's overwhelmed, really, but that's all right. So our big crowd, who'd been
the Pizzaville crowd,
if you will,
Twitter Hat Trick Club, the Tweety Mohrriors, all of us.
Right. We got to spend a good deal of time with them because we're basically at the end of the line. There were a few people after us, but everybody got great pictures.
And then this is when the night turned, because Justin
is when the night turned,
and Robin, who even though they were at Pizzaville with us, they didn't sit with us, and they were a different part of the line. After their meet and greet, they came back and like, "Hey, JJ wants to know what we're doing after."
So let's stop there and let's hit Mohrrior Draft. So we'll start again there after Mohrrior Draft, okay?
Because that is when the night changed.
That is. All right. We'll stop there. We're gonna do Mohrrior Draft. Let me try that again.
Mohrrior Draft.
All right, one more time. Mohrrior Draft 2014. So, Cobb and I sprung the Mohrrior Draft on y'all's Thursday during the show. 1 pick per hour, no definite rules. Lots of people participated, and we'll tally the results up on JMOR Sports this week.
We'd like to review some of your picks, though. There are some strong teams in the league this year. Let's start with our teams, Brad.
So with my first pick, I picked Vito Violante, and I presented him with a graphic hat. That was like part of this whole hat joke. In my second pick, I picked Grape Blue Dini, and with my third pick, I picked Barry Katz. Last year, it turns out, I picked Vito and Barry Katz as well. So this is just basically putting the old team together. Although I really needed to pick Grape Blue Dini. He needed to be picked up. and he needed to. He's a strong competitor. I mean, he won Thursday, right? I mean, the day I pick him, he wins.
That's amazing, yeah.
And the day after I pick him, Vito gets the belt. So this is. I was picking winners here, that's for sure.
I picked French Fry Phil with my first pick. Second round, I went Manuel and Gardena, and then with my third round pick, I picked you, Brad.
That's right, and we discussed
the TMV.
That's right.
Yeah.
We discussed this at. Look at you completing the TMV. I see what your strategy is there now.
Yeah.
We discussed this at Pizzaville, but I made some hats for Cobb to post with his picks as well, and
I was wishy-washy on what my third pick was going to be, or even what my first pick was going to be.
Stop it! You weren't wishy-washy. You had this all planned. But he had me make a hat for a very, very excellent Mohrrior, Boom Boom Dynamite, Adrian Sherman, and I thought, wow, that's a really, really good pick. But he mixed it up on me, and he picked me with his third pick. And I hadn't placed my third pick yet. Okay, now this left me in a very, very difficult situation, which I explained to Cobb. Number one, I could just not pick Cobb, and then I'm a douche, okay? Because he picked me, and I didn't pick him. So basically, I'm a douche for not picking him. And then there's the second thing, which is that I could pick him, and then I look like a douche because it looks like I'm copying him and just doing it because he picked me.
Yeah.
So I was really in a no-win situation. I decided if I'm going to be a douche, damn it, I'm going to get Barry Katz. That's what I'm going to stick to plan. I'm going to get Barry Katz. So whatever I did, I was going to lose this, and I just thought I'm going to lose with dignity here. Cobb, you'd be a very, very worthy pick. In free agent signings, I'd definitely pick you up. I didn't know we were going to do this. I mean, it's kind of like when you have friends at work and whatever, and there's no formal gift exchange, and that one idiot, he's a good guy, you enjoy him and everything else, and he brings you a Christmas gift like the day before Christmas, and you don't have a day to pick him up. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was a lot like that. It was really a bad move.
So you're calling me an idiot?
No, I'm not calling you an idiot. I'm just saying
sounded like it.
You put me in a bad spot.
That's me, by the way.
That
if you pick that up, it's going to be me calling you an idiot.
It's not. Yeah, you put me in a very, very tough spot, but I handled it as gracefully
Not
as
uncommon. Yeah.
I should have. I had my guard down. I should have expected it from you. So let's go through some of these picks here.
Right on.
All right. So, Cobb, I'm reading these from the Mohrrior Draft 2014 hashtag. We've got my first pick. I put the rules. Cobb's first pick. Dr. Tudor McFarden with his first pick. He took Jay Mohr.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
We didn't think Jay Mohr was going to go. We knew it was a value pick at wherever you draft Jay Mohr, it's a value pick. We just didn't think he was going to go that early because last year in the draft he didn't go until the second or third round. I think third round is when Justin and Cincy drafted him last year. So this is a great pick. He's off the board early, and it's a great value pick. And I think picking JJ got Tudor McFarden a runner-up today, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it did. Let's see here. In the Sound Drop draft, I tweeted this. I'm setting this up for Spappledig's first pick. I tweeted the show that I was going to draft hat trick winner songs since I'll never hear it played in my honor again. Spappledig replied to me and said he wanted to draft the Matty Now I interpreted this as he was trying to participate in our Mohrrior draft 2014, but it seems he was trying to participate in the Sound Drop draft. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to leave that one alone, and that's not really a good pick. French Fry Phil with his first picked Dan Byer on Fox. Alex Hernandez with his first picked Loop de Loo. And you'll start to see Alex Hernandez actually having a strategy here, which I thought was really, really good. Jay Taylor Gang took Boom Boom Dynamite. Highest potential in the draft. DJ Carlisle took Jay Gray. No ID Justin also took Jay Mohr. Now, here's what happened. In the rules, I didn't specify that you couldn't take somebody who wasn't already
drafted.
Taken. Right, and it was okay. I mean, I think what we're going to do with it is, we're going to note people who were drafted a lot, and they'll be the real big winners of this because they'll be on a lot of teams. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Old Man Beeston did not want to make a pick, but he just wanted to note that he literally has a high motor because he's got a big rig.
So he's making himself available.
He is making. Bethan
That's-
didn't pick anybody. She just said she wasn't excited about draft day until the sound draft and the corresponding Mohrrior draft.
It's good.
Yeah.
Got her hyped.
So Spappledink with his real first pick took Great Blue Dini. And this is going to be important later because I'm going to take Great Blue Dini. And then Spappledink and I are not going to get into a fight because it's okay.
Even though
Jamie
you both
and
have
Indy.
Blue Dini.
Right.
Yeah.
Jamie and Indy took Are You a Pothead? But he wanted the sound drop draft. Tudor
fine.
McFartin then wanted to know what the order was. Let's see here. Second round pick, J. Cobb took Manuel and Gardena. Let me get back to a first round pick. Oh yes, I did get French Fry Phil. Almighty Dalla, with his first pick, he chose the real Hey Matty's Goodlong. My second round pick, of course, was Great Blue Dini. Yours was Manuel and Gardena. French Fries Phil's second round pick was John and Suzanne Ramos.
Yeah, corresponding with his first pick, which was Bayer.
Great Blue Dini, trying to put last year's team together, selected D the Seahorse. And I don't think Great Blue Dini was aware of D the Seahorse's height. We never had any events that measured anyone's height. But if this is about height, Great Blue Dini made a very, very good pick there.
I don't think he had a third round pick. I think after he completed the Blue Ornaco horse,
yeah, I think he was done.
Trifecta, he finished up. He cashed in his chips and he pulled the Mike Ditka and he went and played golf the rest of the day.
Just left. Jay Taylor gang took 12-18 Artist with with his second pick.
Mm-hmm.
Tim O'Halloran with his first pick took the Sausage, and with his second pick he took
that might be sound drop draft.
The Sausage. Well, he was tweeting
The
for
Sausage.
us. The Sausage and Vin Scully. And let's see. No ID Justin with his second pick in our Mohrrior draft took JJ's left foot. So now he had JJ and JJ's left foot tied up. That was very good.
Now, to some, that might seem redundant to get JJ himself and then also get JJ's left foot, but it's not.
Have you ever seen Okay, here's the big question. Have you ever seen JJ and his left foot in the same picture? I don't think we have.
I don't think they're allowed to be photographed together.
I don't think they're the same. I
don't think they're allowed to be together.
I think it's just a setup. Tudor McFartin with his second pick took Drunken Fit. And that was because he was drunk and he was fit.
Well, it's a shout out to Cheech.
Yes. DJ Carlisle with his second pick took John DiMaggio.
Who was DJ's first pick?
I don't know who DJ's first pick was.
I don't think he had a first pick.
Maybe he skipped. Oh no, he picked Jay Gray. Remember?
Yes, got it.
Yes. Okay.
Two good picks, Jay Gray and John DiMaggio. Good.
Syl Jones selected 12-18 Artist and I Sell Drywall because he's a ladies' man.
He's not the only one.
We get to
find out.
We now get to the third hour, and J. Cobb picked me, his partner in crime and podcasting.
That's right.
That was pretty cool. Syl Jones, with his second pick, selected Loop DeLu and Alex Hernandez. So he's going to try to... See, I see what Syl Jones is doing here. He's actually taking two people per pick. So he's going to end up with the largest team. There's a very good strategy. French Fry Phil, with his third pick, selected the TMV, 2 for 1.
Which is also 2 picks as well.
Yes. Alex Hernandez, with his second and third pick, picked Go Steelers. Which one's Go Steelers? Oh,
Bethan.
That's Beth, right? Yeah, that's right. And I Sell Drywall. All ladies. Alex Hernandez. That's following that strategy. Tudor McFartin, with his third pick, took Sir Gumbo.
Because he's a Saints fan. He wanted another Saints fan. So we got...
Jay Taylor game took No ID Justin because he likes his name. Because Jay Taylor game is another Justin. I get it.
Yep. Justin
Syl Jones, with his third pick, selected a bottle of... I can't even pronounce that. Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Courvoisier.
Ladies' man drink. Thank you. Cobb with the pronunciations. I'm too poor to understand any of that stuff. My third pick, I took Barry Katz. Luis Camacho, his first choice, he took Dean Del Rey.
Great pick.
DJ Carlisle. Oh, this was very, very nice. His third pick is the mighty, infamous, and highly controversial Chim Richards, who no longer is on Twitter. Boom.
They get shout-outs all the time. You give him a shout-out today.
Yes. Beth chose the entire Popcom Mohrrior crew in her draft. So that would be Jay
Nice.
Gray.
Yep.
Jay Gray, Johnny Ringo, Alan Mann, and Etchit Man.
Etchit Man.
Yes. Alex Hernandez, completing his picks, took 12-18 artists. So, the ladies were very popular here.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Tim Mulholland, with his third pick, took Mick
As
Betancourt.
they should be. Oh, that.
And
recent More Stories.
Almighty
guest.
Dollar also, almost at the same time, chose Mick Betancourt. So Mick Betancourt was a solid third-round pick.
No kidding. I haven't listened to that. I haven't listened to that More Stories yet. I need to give that a listen.
It's pretty good. He's got quite a story. Alex Hernandez chose me to run his IT department. I thought that was a very strong choice.
He picked you up in free agency, right?
He did.
Okay. He was very active in free agency, if I remember.
No, he actually drafted me. Cool. He just made his own round. That's okay.
Cool.
He also selected that'd be Boaz to favorite all his team's tweets. Justin J. Taylor Gang took
guy.
LaSalle basketball and came to an agreement with a couple other Mohrriors.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see here. That's close to about it.
Right on. Very good Mohrrior draft. I mean, and the good thing was that we were able to separate the two drafts that were going on because Dan Beyer had the sound drop draft going on during the show while the tweeters were doing their Mohrrior draft at the same time. And it worked out rather majestically, even though both of them were going at the same time, people were able to compartmentalize and go,
by the way,
this was sound drop and this is Mohrrior.
Alex Hernandez found a couple more people to pick.
One of them was me.
Yes, Rock and Santino and Rock and Ramos and you, just because.
He said because I could flat bill it later.
That's right. With my supplemental pick, I took former USC receiver Marquise Lee. He will probably be the offensive rookie of the year. I think that's.
So not only did he drop in the Mohrrior draft, he dropped in the NFL draft too as well.
Yes. Let's see here. Another person who made picks, looks like not a member Nate, took Big Mike's Beard, Jay Taylor Gang, Old Man Beeston, Michael Golf 16, and Steven Phoenix.
It's a good team. All free agents, wow.
Yes, sir. Mike Robinson picked Jay Gray. Then he picked you and me because we're the peanut butter and jelly of J More Sports.
Mm-hmm.
And then with his third pick, he picked Safari Slide because he doesn't need a protest by the NAACP. DJ Carlisle with his supplemental picks took Loop de Lou and Scotty Imp. Got to have the science types together.
Yeah, yep, that's right.
Vito thought I got rid of him, but
you didn't.
It turns out I didn't. I just said everybody can pick everybody that they want. It's okay. And that's CJ and Irvine later took John and Suzanne Ramos, Double Listener, and Vito.
Awesome team. That's a great team.
Yes, and Alex Hernandez assigned himself a grade on draft day. His draft day grade A+. So I'd have to agree with him there.
Yeah, he had an A+, and I got an A+ too.
So we've
My
got
team
some
was
good.
really good.
We've got some good teams. We'll make a record of this later on J More Sports. And
sweet.
All right, let's go back to Bakersfield. Bakersfield Part 2.
So where did we leave off?
Well, we left off in line.
We were in line. We've close up to JJ.
Yes,
and at this point, Justin and Robin just finished their meet and greet, and they come back with some
excellent news.
Excellent news, yeah.
Yes, JJ's hungry and wants to eat somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So
and not alone.
And not alone. He needed an audience to eat. So
that's really the case, but
no, it's not the case. I know it's not the case. I kid. So we were gonna meet up at Pizzaville and we all got to Pizzaville before he did, and it was closed.
It was still closed. We got there before it closed, and it was still closed. So thanks a lot, Pizzaville, for
so
sucking.
we turned to Matt, because Matt knows what's up. Frank Drebin. And, yes, and I said, Frank, what are we going to do? And Frank came up with an idea that we would go to, what was it, Rusty's
on Ming? Or Ming's on Rusty?
Yeah, Rusty's on Ming. We'd go to Rusty's on Ming. So,
but we wouldn't go all at once.
Right, so we get him, we get in touch with JJ via the means we have to get in touch with him. And tell
Justin's
him
DM.
That's right. We're gonna go to Rusty's on Ming, and about 5 minutes later, I realized, hey, we told him we're gonna go to Rusty's on Ming. Somebody better head over there. So, CJ and I headed over to Rusty's on Ming, and as we're just about to get there, get a text from you that says, nope, he got here. We're gonna do something else. So turn around and I get on the phone with you. And it turns out you guys are going to go to Jack in the Box, which is right down the street from Pizzaville. So we pulled into Jack in the Box. You guys were all there. You were ordering and everything else. This is where things get fun, because CJ and I pull into this and we see what's going on. Is that basically we're all ordering, and I guess JJ's picking it up, and so I just feel like, okay, well, I could go.
Well, he's rolling out hundreds, like
I did not see
pocket.
That. Well, I didn't see that.
Merch money, son. Merch money.
Merch money. I did not see that. However, I did see that it was a good time to order. So I just said, hey, we just ordered here. He says, yeah, go ahead. And then he sees CJ, and he says to CJ, wow, this is the first time I've seen you when you aren't completely plastered.
This might be the first time I've seen you sober.
That's right. That's what it was. You got it word for word. Okay, defer to Cobb on the word for word stuff. Which was kind of hilarious, because I'm just like, CJ's been to a lot of these things.
Always sober.
CJ's okay at holding his alcohol. There's not a problem here. What's going on?
He might be 1 or 2 beers in, but he's usually...
What's going on?
Not sideways or anything. What's going on?
So we think about this for a minute, and we realize that, no, it's not CJ that he's talking about.
No.
It's somebody else. Here's a hint. Somebody else that didn't do too well at Morongo, and so
fair enough.
It was a pretty funny moment, but then
not for CJ.
Not for CJ. It was not a funny moment for CJ. It was absolutely devastating for CJ.
It was not.
But CJ held it. It was devastating for him. I mean, he was pretty hurt by it.
Yeah.
But he held it together, and then we straightened out who was who, and JJ kind of apologized. And
he apologized today.
Well, no, he did sort of apologize in line too.
Yeah,
yeah, that's right. Oh, sorry about that, man.
Yeah.
And we just went on and did our thing. We ate. Boy, there was a lot of food. There was a lot of food at that Jack in the Box, and he told us some great stories over dinner of Saturday Night Live skits.
Yeah,
and especially
a lot of
Chris Farley. A lot of Chris Farley. Muy comical,
and the greatest thing is how Chris Farley would just save something for the actual show. He would go through the rehearsals, he would go through the reads, and he would just he was a good little boy, and he did his part. But then when it was showtime, he would do something to mess with the audience or the other actors or whomever. Mm-hmm. And the thing, and the great thing is, JJ was midway through his Chris Farley story about the time he was in the what's the name of the guy who lives in the river? Matt Foley. So he's doing he's in a Matt Foley skit, and he's playing a Hispanic family. So the whole thing's in Spanish, and so Matt Foley's like, muy comico, and it's whatever the van down by the river is something 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 Rio, and he's doing it, and it's hysterical. And so he says, and then Chris goes and he puts his hand on my head, and he moves my black wig around, so I have this black wig, and it's crossed over my eyes, and it's on crooked, and it's and so JJ's here okay, the cameras are rolling, this is live TV. Chris Farley is going nutso in his Matt Foley Spanish character. Do I fix my hair, or do I leave it? And he's like contemplating, like, you know, I need to fix it because I need to stay in character, or would the character not fix it because, like, this is what his hair does. This person's hair actually does this, and do I leave it and just let the show go on? And oh my god, it was hysterical.
It was very funny. It was some really cool stories and stuff, and you know, it was cool. Just you know, he was just talking there. I mean, the whole group of us were there. I mean, the only person who didn't show up, the only two that didn't show up would be French Fry Phil had to go home and take care of his kids, which is perfectly understandable. And Dan Byer had a long drive home, so he didn't join us. But
to Byer's credit, he showed up at Pizzaville. And then made a left.
He did.
When he found out we were all going to Jack in the Box, he made a left. We're like, okay, we're all going to make a right.
I don't like bacon.
I'm a pretty fussy eater.
Yeah.
So he's apparently a pretty fussy eater and was only going to be there for pizza. And then when we found out we were going to Jack in the Box, like, there's no pizza at Jack in the Box. I don't want soy tacos, so I'm going home.
Soy comico.
Soy tacos comico. Yeah, and it was just epic. Everyone, like, and then after you know, JJ coming down off of his, like, show performance high, and Dean, you know, and then him and Dean are there eating dinner, and we're all eating, you know, and it's just everyone had their guard down, but everyone's laughing and everyone's having a good time. There's, like, no tension. It was just
we even discussed the Maddie thing a little bit. I mean, the thing there is, I think you know, maybe you didn't get that everybody was like, well, where'd Maddie go? It's like they're going to
wanted answers. We all wanted answers.
We did want answers, but we got answers, and you know, we got answers last week, but it's kind of important to get in front of those things, you know, so there isn't a lot of speculation that's
or speculum either.
Unwarranted speculation. But that was cool to talk about. It was and it was okay. So the amazing part there is in Rapid Fire today, CJ called in, and JJ apologized to him on the air for somebody else. That was really, really funny. That was very, very funny stuff. Just all in all, just a really, really good evening.
I mean, we were probably there for like over an hour, but it probably felt like 20 minutes.
Well, I think we got out of there a little after 12.
After midnight.
When we hit the road. We got to see Deandale Ray's motorcycle. This was a police bike that he'd picked up. I didn't get the whole story, but he'd recently picked it up, and it was just a nice classic bike. From what I gather,
Harley. Yeah.
From what I gather, I don't think he rode home that night over the Grapevine.
Was it the next day?
I think he rode home the next one, which would have been smart because the wind over the Grapevine was insane. That was absolutely
on our way
insane.
home, it was nuts.
On our way home, it was insane. Yeah, we saw one car go. It was like a little Blazer in front of us to the left.
It was a Jeep.
Cherokee. Was it a Jeep? Okay, well, you were closer. I was still sitting in the back seat, and it went over about 3/4 of a lane, just instantaneously. Yeah. And then, in the Subaru, we got a couple good gusts, but we didn't move much. That's what's nice about those low center of gravity Subarus. I'm really sold on that car. I really want to get that car.
Yeah, it was a great road trip car. CJ was awesome.
That's a very, very nice ride. Yeah, he's a great driver and just has a lot of fun with it and doesn't get upset at his navigators. Actually, Cobb, as bad as you were, I was even more awful getting up to your house, not paying attention to where anything was. And if it wasn't for my Android phone reading the directions, I don't think we'd have made it there.
Did you? Here's something I want to note about the road trip. Yeah. What is it? For me, it was 2 hours to get up and 2 hours to come back.
Mm-hmm.
So just personally speaking, 4 hours total in the car.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have the radio on.
No, we didn't. We were just having.
We didn't have music on. We didn't have more stories on, podcasts on, AM radio. Nothing.
Actually, we were for a little.
We tried to find the more story, but that was 5 minutes.
We did try to find more stories where JJ complained about his website, for various reasons. But no, we did that for 5 minutes and got bored with it and just went back to just talking and having a good time. Yeah, the three of us had a great time on that trip. That was
fun. Yeah, that's you're like, oh, we talked a lot, and it was awesome, man.
And then not only that, but I mean, my plan is that on the way back we'd plan our show, so I wouldn't have to do any show planning today. We didn't do any of that either.
And we didn't do any of
None
that. No.
None of that. So there's no
Just
show planning.
spitting seeds in a Ziploc bag and
right.
chatting about Tweety Mohrriors and California and passing the Gorman exit.
Let's
passing
do the Steve Gorman sports exit.
Do you want to finish this off with your break? With
yes.
Your pit stop.
Yeah, pit stop. So this is another exit that does not have bathrooms. And this would be that when you're going south, it's a second Castaic exit.
Well, it's also 1 o'clock in the morning.
It is 1 o'clock. Yeah, it was 1 o'clock in the morning. That's 1:30 actually at that point.
Yeah.
That was kind of a problem. That place didn't have a bathroom. So CJ found a parking lot and a Ralph's with the Ralph's truck. You know, where they back the big truck in to unload like eggs and milk,
bread,
and other things you'd find at your local Ralph's grocery store. And so I got up and watered the wall for about 4 minutes, and there's very windy there too. I was surprised.
And remember, there's wind gusts.
There were wind gusts. That's
Brad's
true.
pissing in the wind.
Really, I was okay. I had a good directional control plus a wall that was buffering any huge gusts.
So you're like Picasso in his canvas, is what you are.
I was okay, and then and Cobb here, the smart aleck that he is, he says that I didn't do a good enough job with Kennedy's brains in that depiction. I thought, man, that's just too soon for that. Don't do that, Cobb.
Too soon.
Too soon. Way too soon.
Segue to thank yous.
we got to do topical tweets, and then I think that's where we'll end it. So you want to do topical tweets?
Let's do some topical tweets.
All right, let me.
Topical tweets. Okay, let's go on.
Topical tweets. So JJ's show has a new side road about horses being the only animals that will let you ride them. And this got everybody in the audience thinking. I know it got me thinking, and just looking around at everybody talking to each other. I know it got everybody talking to each other. So I just thought, okay, here's our topical tweet subject. Name an animal, other than a horse, that will let you ride it. And I said, reply to this tweet, and we're going to start with my ass. So, funny joke. Okay, French Fry Phil, his contribution to this was a luck dragon, and he actually had a picture.
Of Falcor from...
Yes.
Yeah. Luis Camacho replied, camel, #toe, which is... They're both true.
Yes, and somebody during the show did bring up the camel, and, JJ actually argued a little bit and then kind of conceded the point and moved on to the next thing.
Basically said, I haven't really thought this joke through. That was his reply.
Because he hadn't thought it through. Jay Cobb tweeted an elephant, and he had a picture of NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, who has very, very large ears.
Pat Delaney tweets, his first girlfriend.
No ID Justin tweeted, that big-ass flying dog from Neverending Story.
So he got drafted twice.
Yeah.
Adrian Sherman tweets, the rhino and the marlin from Donkey Kong were pretty badass.
Tim O'Halloran tweets, Chipper the dolphin will let you ride him, but you have to reciprocate.
Rob Farfa tweets, Yoshi from Mario Brothers.
Lupe pointed out, see, this was actually the first thing that came to my mind was, you could ride ostriches. People ride ostriches.
That is true. They race them.
They race them, yes. She was on her show. By the way, she was at the show, and we did not see her. We got to, who's listening.
I don't think that was our fault or her fault.
No, I don't think it was anybody's fault. I think it was just how it was going to be. By the way, Derek Jackson tweets at us right now, haha, Kennedy's brains. Back into the left, back into the left, back into the left. Now we're through the looking glass here, people. Yeah, pretty awful.
It's about 8 or 9 back into the lefts. You set a world record with that, with your number one there. Adrian Sherman tweets, Lindsay Lohan, But your journey always ends with you in court.
Oh.
Sil Jones tweets, a Kardashian.
And
Yeah,
Beth
I guess you
tweets-
could write. I guess you could write
Yeah.
a Kardashian. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah.
Most people do.
Lamar Odom could attest to that.
Most of us have.
Beth tweets a giant wolf that changes into a husky shirtless guy.
A
So
hunky.
I'm watching a husky.
A hunky.
A hunky shirt. I'm thinking like me and I'm trying to rep for me and Dan Byer here.
No, she doesn't want a husky guy.
A hunky.
She wants a young hunky guy.
Okay, so I'm watching a Twilight movie. Sue me. Yeah. Anyway, the winner of topical tweets this week is Beth. Good job.
Congratulations, Beth. Go follow her on Twitter at GoSteelers with a Z. I don't have a hat trick winner type song for you, Beth. I apologize.
All right, let's see here. Anybody else want to get in? You getting the waiting for organizer message? Did I screw this up? No,
I don't get it. I don't have anything.
I don't see anybody here that's getting this. All right, well, no big deal. I guess apparently there were technical difficulties on GoToMeeting.
No one can get on GoToMeeting.
Bummer.
Sorry, folks.
With that, we'll do the end.
It's not
all
the
good.
first time the TMV has had technical difficulties.
No, it's not with the GoToMeeting, that's for sure. Thanks to Manuel and Gardena for his weekly wrap-up, which I will record tomorrow and include in the podcast. Thanks for tweeters for participating live this evening. Thanks to listeners, whether you listen live or on the podcast, for giving us an hour and 6 minutes, 7 minutes of your time. Thanks to J. Cobb for doing the video cast with me. Hey, and thanks to, you know what, we didn't thank him enough. Thanks to CJ for the ride up there. You know, he'll hear this at the end, but you were cool, and you had a really tough moment, and you handled it well, and you got rewarded today. So
absolutely,
yes, thank you
in a big
CJ.
way. Thank you, Brad. Please let us know what you thought of today's show on Twitter. Hashtag the TMV. Tonight's show.
Yes.
The edited podcast will be up Tuesday evening.
Yeah, try Tuesday.
For you to enjoy during the week. And a special shout out to all the Tweety Mohrriors and Twitter hat trick winners that we met up with in Bakersfield this weekend. And to Jay Moore. We'll see you next Sunday afternoon at our regular time for another fun hour and a half of the TMV.
See you then, Cobb.
Tea time. It's TMV time. Depending if you're listening or watching, we don't mind. It's tea time. It's TMV time. As long as you're listening or watching, we don't mind. As long as you're listening or watching, we